Morning, everybody, and welcome again to our Garden Guru Garden Shop workshop this morning. And welcome to everybody. All the names here on my screen do look familiar, but if you are not familiar with our procedures here, please do make sure that you mute your microphone in order to prevent any sort of disruption during the workshop. If you've got any questions, then you can send it to me via my email, subi@gardenshop.co.za, after the meeting, and I will gladly answer those. So welcome very much, everybody. And as most of you know, my name is Sue, and I'm the Garden Guru from GardenShop. And I must say, with a sad heart, this is the last presentation that Kay has sort of edited for us, the last PowerPoint presentation. She's going on to greener pastures. So good luck with all your new ventures, Kay. And as from next week, you will have to deal with my PowerPoint presentations, but I will do to try and keep up the standard of our PowerPoint presentation. And then without further ado, I'm going to share our PowerPoint with you now. And today we are talking about lawns and lawn maintenance. And let's just go there to the slideshow, get this little block out of the way here, like so. And I think everybody should be able to see quite fine now. So yes, as I said, today we're talking about lavish lawns, and it's all on how to care for your lawn and prepare your lawn for the summer. Now, these days we quite frequently hear a term called the room outside, because modern day living requires us to be able to get outside and spend more activities outside. And I think especially in South Africa, that is quite important for us, especially, you know, because of our culture and because of our summer living. But I think even in winter nowadays, with the pandemic being around and lockdowns, etc., it has become more and more important for us to actually have that room outside, that place where you can spend your time in your garden, come rain or come shine, and where you will actually then be able to feel a little bit better about the world around you. Now, there's often a lot of quarrels going on about to lawn or not to lawn. That is the question. The wife would say no, and the husband would say yes, and the wife would say, you hate mowing the lawn, and the husband would say, no, I don't. Yes, but you always mow, you never want to do it, it's always a burden to you. Oh no, you can't beat the smell of the freshly cut grass, and you can't forget that I've got a new lawn mower. So all of that goes on, and I think it's quite important, a lawn in a garden, because for several reasons, which I am going to discuss with you now. So what is the value of a lavish lawn? It's a multifunctional space. Whether your children are playing out in the garden, whether you put your furniture out there, whether it's a place where you can put your braai down and have a nice braai on your Weber. Family space to us, and especially in South Africa, and especially in these times, are very important. You can play sports on your lawn, you can have a picnic, or you can just sort of lie next to the pool. But the lawn really is a central part of our gardens. And the strange thing is, if your lawn is neat and tidy, somehow the rest of your garden looks good and maintained as well. Lawn also has emotional value. It makes your garden look good, it makes people happy, it stimulates your senses and gives you a true feeling of summer. I mean, there's nothing like walking out on the lawn with your bare feet and feeling that texture, and it just gives you a true sense of well-being. Lawns also break up harsh spaces, and no garden should be all hard landscaping. Paving may be easy to clean, but we need the softness of plants, trees, hedges, and then grass to enhance your spaces. Um, the lawn will soften it, it will make it feel more inviting and far more beautiful. Lawns are actually easy and cheap to install as well compared to other green landscaping like plants or whatever. If you look at per square meterage in terms of planting plants compared to planting lawn, it is definitely a lot cheaper, and with good maintenance, your lawn can look good throughout the year. Green is also the color that complements all other colors, and it's a terrific background to all those stunning flowers that you've got in your garden, or all those leaf colors and textures, etc., etc. And then a real lawn can also be seen as a soft landing, especially where you've got children. When they fall, when they're running and things like that, the chances of them getting hurt on a lawn space compared to a paved space are much less. So what types of lawns do we get? And I think this is quite a important conversation, because you've got to sort of assess your area and look at what is the best lawn for your area. Now, first of all, I'm sure you've all heard of alum lawn or Berea lawn. That is a fantastic lawn, and it grows both in the sun and the shade. Now, the nice thing about alum lawn too is that it spreads. In other words, it makes runners, and you can plant alum lawn either via those runners. You can also buy plugs in the nursery. You usually get a tray of about 200 plugs, and you can plant those individual plants. You can also get alum lawn as sots. Those are a bit more expensive than kikuyu, but they are available. And then you can sow the alum lawn too. I don't recommend the last method, because you don't always know what your germination rate is, and it would take quite a bit longer to establish. And I think comparing plugs to seeds, the price difference is so little that I would rather go for the plugs where I know I've already got small established plants. Now, the other thing about alum lawn too is that it can actually handle traffic, and otherwise your kids can play on it, you can walk on it, you can park your car on it if you have to. Not that that's recommended for any lawn, but yes, you can do that. So alum lawn, a very multifunctional lawn, and it will grow both in sun and shade. What's more is the alum lawn, the runners run on top of the soil. So where you've got trees and a lot of root competition, this is the ideal lawn to use, because it doesn't have to compete with the roots of the trees, etc. The next lawn, and I'm sure that's the one that you're all familiar with too, that's the one that we get on our rugby stadiums and our soccer stadiums and everywhere around us in parks, and that is kikuyu. Kikuyu is a magnificent lawn. It's a very strong lawn. Kikuyu also spreads, in other words, it makes runners, and kikuyu can handle a lot of traffic. If you think of it being planted on sports fields, etc. The only drawback for kikuyu is that it only grows in the sun. So don't even bother to try and plant kikuyu in your shaded areas, and then especially not in shaded areas where there's a lot of root competition like trees, etc., because the runners of the kikuyu actually runs underneath the ground, so it is difficult for those runners to then penetrate into the soil. Kikuyu you can also plant via runners, you can plant it via plugs, or you can get it via sots, which is quite cheap per square meterage, and then you can also sow it from seeds. Again, the seeds are pretty expensive, and you can't always control your germination rate. So I would definitely either use one of the top 3 options for planting my kikuyu rather than planting it from seed. And then lastly, kikuyu can obviously, as we've said, handle quite a lot of traffic. Now, the next lawn that we also sometimes get is pouch or kweek as we know it, and that you often find in parks or in big farmland areas where you've got huge areas that needs to be covered. It sometimes is also mixed with kikuyu seed, like on golf courses. Kweek only grows in the sun. It also makes runners, and those runners run very deep. So it is a very drought resistant lawn. Kweek you can plant both with runners and plugs, and kweek can also take quite a lot of traffic. The down part of kweek is that in winter it really is very, very dead, and I don't recommend it for small gardens either, because those runners run so deep. You'll always find pieces of that kweek coming up in your garden. Now, another lawn that we get is what we call shade over, and then together with that, also all seasons evergreen. Now, the shade over is obviously designed to grow in the shade, and the all seasons evergreen will grow in sun and semi-sun. And the shade over will also grow in semi-sun. Now, that is a mixture of rye grasses, and as I say, depending on what your area is, you would select the correct mixture for your area. The thing about these shade overs and all seasons evergreen is that it's clump grasses. In other words, it does not spread. It doesn't move from one space to another space. Where it is, and where it's dead, it's dead. And then you've got to either re-sow it or replant it in order to establish your lawn. Apart from that, the root system of these lawns are pretty shallow, so they need a lot of water, a lot of maintenance, a lot of care. It can't handle a lot of traffic because the roots are so shallow, and also if your dog has a whittle on your lawn, it will either kill the lawn or make a brown spot on your lawn, and you would have to re-sow it into that area, because as I say, if it's dead, it's dead. Now, the best way to plant these lawns is with seeds, and you've got to sow the seeds very densely. Where there's a seed, there will be a plant. Where there's not a seed, it would be bare. So usually what I do is I do a 2-phase seeding process, where I sow in my first lot and then sow in the second lot a month or so after the first lot has come up and established, and I can actually see what has happened there. It's a fantastic lawn for small gardens, because this amazing thing is that these seeds actually germinate sometimes in summer within a week, but in winter within 15 days, and you can actually have a lawn. It's great for between pavers because it doesn't spread, so you won't have to cut open the pavers all the time. It does not do very well where you've got tree root competition, because of the roots of this lawn that is so very, very small. And then lastly, we get our clover grasses, which is things like your dichondria or your wonder lawn, as some of you might know it. It's those things with either a clovery type leaf or a round leaf. Now, these leaf lawns do have runners, and they can usually grow in sun and shade, and you can plant them with seeds and plugs. The only thing is they sort of sometimes, they don't evenly look good all the time, but it's got a benefit that you usually do not have to mow it, and it can take a fair amount of traffic. So I think once you've got your lawn there, very important now is to actually prepare your lawn before spring. And why do we want to do that? First of all, you want to remove all the old and diseased material off your lawn. You want to stimulate new growth, and you want to feed the lawn before the new growth starts. Now, when do we scatterfy our lawn? The best time to do it is sort of from middle July towards the end of August. You can see I've marked there on the calendar for you, which are the best days, even for 2021. So yes, that would be the best time to scatterfy your lawn. Now, what do you need if you want to scatterfy your lawn? First of all, you're going to need some gloves if you don't want to get your hands damaged. You are going to need a lawnmower, or then you're going to need a spike roller or a garden fork. You're going to need a leaf rake, not a metal rake. And then you're going to need good quality lawn dressing, and you're going to require about 1 bag for every 5 square meters of lawn that you are going to scatterfy. Now, the first step is to cut your grass very short with a lawnmower. For your seed grasses, that's your shade overs and your all seasons evergreen, you would not set it entirely as low, but for all your other grass types, you're going to cut it like really, really short, with kikuyu even sort of bearing those roots at the bottom. Because you must also remember that a lawn that's too matted and thick can easily get disease, especially towards the middle of summer. So the next thing that you do is you're going to scatterfy your lawn. And that means you're going to like put some little holes in the grass, and that you can do with either your spike roller, which you can rent at companies like Mr. Green Fingers, for instance. You might have your own one, or if you don't have such a big lawn, you can even do it with a fork, just like putting holes into your lawn, like the photograph there on your left-hand side. Now, the next step is to actually apply the lawn dressing, and as I said, that would be like 1 bag per every 5 square meter of lawn surface. So you're going to put the lawn dressing all over your lawn, and then the next step is to actually rake it evenly over your lawn. You don't want to cover the entire surface of the lawn. You actually rake the lawn dressing in between the lawn, so you can actually see the lawn coming through too. And it's amazing, once you've applied the lawn dressing, your lawn already looks greener already. I think it's probably the contrast between the dark color of the lawn dressing and the bits of green that's left of your lawn after the winter. So as I say, a very thin layer across. You don't cover your lawn. You don't ever put like thick areas of red soil or things like that on your lawn. If you've got areas that you need to fill up that's sort of indented, then rather do that with a succession of layering with building sand, because red soil would compact on top of your lawn, and that is the last thing that you would want. And then last of all, once you've put your lawn dressing down, you just need to give your lawn a nice good watering. And if it's still coolish, try to do that towards the middle of the day, not sort of just before the sun sets, because otherwise that water will then sort of cool down and will might even freeze on top of your lawn. And then you wait 3 weeks and you apply a high nitrogen fertilizer to your lawn, something like 1:7:1:3 or Bioganic Lawns, and you make sure that you water that fertilizer in very well, because you wouldn't want to burn the roots of your lawn. I prefer for my first fertilizing to actually use an chemical 315, because that means that the nutrients in the fertilizer is immediately available to the plants, and then follow up my next fertilizing session a month later with the bioorganic lawns, but I will get to that a bit later as well. So we've just done a short little video for you on how to actually scatterfy your lawn, and Alton and Beth will kindly assisted me, and I am going to play that to you right now. Hi, my name is Sue and I'm your GardenShop garden guru, and today we are going to show you how to scatterfy your lawn. Now I've got my team here with me, Alton and Bethel, and they are going to help me to show you how to do this. So first of all, what tools do you need? We've got our lawn mowing here because we're going to cut our lawn really slow. Then we've also got a spike roller behind us, which you'll see when we use it. And we've also got a fork in case you don't have a spike roller. So let's get started. Guys, what we're going to do first is we are going to put the lawnmower on its lowest level. Alton, can you just put it down on its lowest level? There you go, because we want to try and cut the lawn really short. And then we're going to start from the one side and we're going to cut our piece of lawn. Make sure that your cables are always out of the way. You don't want to cut cables. Make sure you've got the right protection here. Right, so now we've mowed our lawn nice and short, and we've got our spike roller here, which we're going to use to erase the soil. So what the spike roller really does is it makes little holes into the ground, and it puts some air into the soil, and it also loosens the roots a little bit. Bethel, can you play through that? See, going in nicely there. Now, if you don't have a spike roller, you can also use the fork. Good. So you can just use sort of lift the area a little bit. These areas are very, very, very hard. Right, so we've now aerated our soil, our lawn, with our spike roller and or your fork. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to spread a thin layer of lawn dressing over the grass. Now, lawn dressing is very fine organic compost, and you're going to use about one bag for 4 to 5 square meters of lawn. And then we're going to rake it nicely. Good. Now we're going to use a leaf rake, a soft rake, to rake it nicely over the area. And as you can see, as I said, this way, right. You can still see the lawn coming through the lawn dressing here. You don't want a thick layer over it, just a thin layer. And already your lawn is looking better. Also take out all the hard pieces and stone that's on your lawn, because you don't want to damage your lawnmower with your first mowing. And that's your lawn preparation for spring. Easy as that. Thank you, Alton. Thank you, Bethel. Well, that's just a little bit on. Hi, my name is. That's just a little bit on how to scatterfy your lawn. I think that video makes it quite clear on how to do it, but it really isn't the most difficult task on this planet, and you definitely don't need a degree in rocket science to do it either. Now, it's all fine and well to have your lawn prepared for summer, but you also need to maintain your lawn in order to have a nice lawn throughout. And you don't have to go through any of those extremes of keeping people off your lawn, etc., to actually maintain a good lawn. So first of all, let's talk about how you mow your lawn. Depending on the lawn that you've got and what you're mowing, you might have to decide on the height that you're going to set your mower. As I said, for your seed grasses, your height would be set at a higher level than for kikuyu and alum, for instance. It is also important that you don't want your lawn to mat, to become too thick, like a sort of a sponge when you walk on it. If you keep it short, your infection rate are less on your lawns, and you get a nice, even lawn that way. The other thing about mowing is the direction of mowing, and it's very good to actually alternate your direction of mowing, because otherwise the leaves of the lawn all tend to grow in one direction, and then it sort of gets a dull appearance. Whereas if you mow it sort of in different directions, those leaves get like directioned in different directions, and you can get that nice green lush look. Now, depending on how much it's raining and how hot it is, you might have to mow your lawn more than once a week. The more frequently you mow your lawn in summer, the nicer your lawn would actually get, and the sort of the blades would also become finer on the lawns. Always, when you've mowed your lawn, make sure that you remove all the loose grass cuttings from your lawn, because that, if it's left there, can cause infection, and it can also, especially fungal infections, but it can also like host eggs for lawn caterpillars, etc., that can do quite a bit of damage to your lawn. Then it's important to also feed your lawn, and I recommend that you feed once a month during the summer season, and I alternate between a chemical fertilizer like 713 and an organic fertilizer like Bioorganic Lawns. So I would say, for instance, September, use the 713, and then October the Bioorganic, and then November the 713, etc., up to about April. When I get to April, then I would just do one dosage of 315, and that you can do either the organic or the chemical one, and that should then last you until such time that you do your scatterfying, and it will help your plants to be strong, and also for the roots of your lawns to develop. Now, when mowing your lawn, you always need to take safety into consideration, and I've drawn these little pictures for you. I hope you like them. Just a few safety tips. Don't smoke your cigar while you're putting petrol into your petrol mower. Not a good idea, because you can end up like the guy there on the right hand bottom. Also, always make sure that you wear shoes when you're mowing the lawn, not only with electric mowers, but also mechanical mowers, petrol mowers, because you might get shocked from the cable, but your feet might also sort of get under the mower, and shoes will always protect your feet to some extent. When you want to tip your lawnmower over, either to clean it or whether it's stopped all of a sudden or whatever, please make sure that it's switched off properly. If it's an electrical mower, unplug the mower before you turn it around. If it is a petrol mower, don't put it on idle. Just switch off the mower completely and kill the engine. You don't want to end up without fingers. Don't wear loose clothing when you mowing your lawn, because that clothing might get stuck under the lawnmower and you probably won't get hurt, but you might get your mink coat damaged to such an extent that you'll not be able to wear it again. And then lastly, don't mow the lawn during rain or heavy weather, because you're just putting yourself out there to be hit by lightning. And in any ways, if it's going to rain, it's not a good idea to mow your lawn even so. So that is it from me on lawns today, and I'm sure you've got a lot of questions that you want to ask, and those things you can send to me by email, subi@gardenshop.co.za. And I just want to quickly talk about our upcoming courses and workshops. That is our paid workshops. And we obviously had to make a bit of adjustments since the president has announced our level 4 lockdown, and our rose pruning workshop that was scheduled at our Bryanston branch for the 10th of July will now take place as an online workshop. If you are interested, please send me an email. That will be on the 10th of July. The cost for that would obviously also be a reduced cost, and it would be an interactive meeting on Zoom, sort of like the one that we've got here now, but because we've got less people, we would be able to communicate with each other. Then our fruit tree pruning and care workshop, thus far until the president makes further announcements, is still scheduled to be at Bryanston. But if we won't be able to do that workshop at Bryanston, we will also migrate it to a Zoom workshop, as well as our Parktown Gardeners course starting on the 24th of August, and our Bryanston Garden course starting on the 25th of August. So those are the things that you can look forward to here at Garden Shop. But I think what most of you are looking forward to is probably our competition. And I know everybody is sitting at the front of their seats, and Doris is here with me. And let me just get to a bit of a full screen here so that we can see Doris. Doris, where are you?
I'm here.
Something is not happening. Ah, there. I think you need to move that side. Everybody can see Doris. So last week we had our last lasher competition, and it's a lovely prize of a head shear, a pair of secateurs, and gardening gloves, sponsored for us by Lasher. And we've got all our entries here. Doris, you've got to make a good mix here, please.
I need to shake me.
And then you've got to draw it here where our viewers can see. Okay, did you do a good mix there?
Yes.
Okay, dokie. Well, there we go.
There you are.
And the lucky person today is Angela LaCour. Congratulations, Angela. You are our winner of our Lasher hamper. That's the secateur, the head shear, and the gardening gloves for today. And I will be in contact with you to make sure that we can get your prize to you. So congratulations, Angela. But if you didn't win today, luckily ProTech has sponsored us a hamper for this week's competition. So you can enter the competition by sending your answer of the question, which I'll tell you now, to subi@gardenshop.co.za. And the question today is, when is the best time to scarify your lawn in South Africa? When is the best time to scarify your lawn in South Africa? And you can send your answer to me, Subi at gardenshop.co.za, to my email, and you will be in our draw for next week, which you'll do, eh, Doris?
I'll do.
We came in especially for the workshop today because our internet connection here is good, but some of us have been working from home this week, sort of with the pandemic being on us and all of that. So a beautiful lawn does not happen by itself. You've got to put some work into it, but I think once you put the work into it, it is really well worth the effort. And if you're having problems with your children, you can do what this gentleman is doing. His son is playing on his probably Xbox all the time, and he took out the lawnmower and he's telling his son, it's like a video game. This is like a giant joystick, and you move it towards the evil tall grass until it's all gone. So there's a solution for you if you don't know what to do with your kids during this time of lockdown. And that's it from me for today. I'm Sue. I'm your garden guru from GardenShop. You can send all your questions to me and then your answers for the competition as well. Subi at gardenshop.co.za. And remember, we've also got our garden gurus in each store. Those are all qualified garden horticulturists. Sibuyile at our Bryanston branch, Salomsi at our Broadacres branch, and Godfrey at our Parktown North branch. So you can just ask for them and they will gladly assist you. And then I would just like to thank Kay once again for all the work that she's put into our presentations over the last year or so. She's really done a terrific job, and we wish her all the best for the future. And for me, that is it from me. Next week, we will talk a bit about acid-loving plants, and hopefully that would solve some gardening issues for you as well. Thank you very much for joining us today. See you all next week. Stay safe and keep gardening.